You have choice. You have always had choice. What change can we be today? What action can we take to create a future of greater possibilities? Welcome to the Choice, Change and Action podcast with your host, Simone Milasas. Hey everybody, welcome to the Choice, Change and Action podcast. So you are with me, your host, Simone Milasas, and today I have the lovely, wonderful Julia Sotas. So welcome, Julia.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm excited. I love your podcast.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And if you are listening to it, don't forget you can switch over to the YouTube and you can check us out. So you can see Julia and me live. Yay. Yeah, that's it. Jazz hands. So you can only see the jazz hands if you're on the YouTube thing. So check it out.
I know today you were talking about Simone's doing this telecall right now with Christopher Hughes, and I had to go get groceries during the call, and you were showing this gold straw,
Yeah.
but I had dialed in, and so I couldn't see it, and I was so pissed off. I was like, I want to see the gold straw. That sounds so amazing.
And now people are going to want to see the gold straw, but it's in my kitchen. I just washed it. So what Julia is talking about is one of the things that I decided to purchase just for the sheer fun of it. With some of my 10% account, my honor account which is a whole other story, is some gold straws. So I now drink my juice from a gold straw, which is just fun. Why not? Why the hell not? So, okay, so today, Julia and I pretty much don't know where we're going with this. And what we recently just did this 7-day event with Gary Douglas and Dane here, which was phenomenal. And we do these 7 days events a couple of times a year with Access Consciousness. And it was called Whispers of the Universe, right? And so for starters, it's like, how many times do you hear these whispers around you? And if you listen to the whispers and follow the energy, then life and business and money and relationships and everything can be way greater and easier, okay? Mm-hmm. So one of the things that Julia was asking a question during this class, and I went, ooh, I would love to extrapolate with you, Julia, on this whole idea. And actually there's a couple of ideas that you could create as a business. Yeah. And so Julie goes, well, I don't really know what we're going to do here. And I was like, I don't either, but the whole idea of extrapolation and Joy of Business, all the Joy of Business facilitators are actually got something showing up at the moment that we've got these extrapolation sessions. And to me, an extrapolation session is not going into it with, we've got to find a result, or we've got to find what the problems are so that we can come up with a solution, or the how to. It's not like this, A plus B is going to equal C. It's like, no, A equals friggin' everything. And it's really being in asking as many questions. It's almost like playing what I would say the question game, as many questions as we can come up with to listen to those whispers and hear what else is possible. So let's do this first of all. So if you're listening or watching this and you've got an idea or something that you would like to extrapolate with, see if you can find a friend or a buddy, or use a lot of the questions that, Julia and I will come up with today, and sit down and go, okay, I'm not looking for a result with this, but what possibilities are available? And even if you start with that, if you're not looking for a result, what possibilities are available? Because quite often you'll also head in one direction and you go, oh, this is where I'm heading. And then it just goes and leads you somewhere completely different. But because you headed in that direction, not looking for a conclusion or a result, it allows you to find this other path somewhere else. So let's ask this. Everything that you've been unwilling to receive from the entirety of the universe, will you destroy and uncreate it?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all names, shorts, boys and beyonds. And that's the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement that you can find out more on theclearingstatement.com. Dr. Dane here talks about it. But basically what we're asking the question, first off, is, well, universe, show me something that I've been unwilling to receive. So universe, show me something I've been unwilling to receive. And then you're destroying and uncreating everything that you've decided that is. And one thing I've been looking at recently too is I was asking that question, universe, show me something I've been unwilling to receive. But I also realized I was like, still had this, well, universe, you can show me something that's different from most people, but don't make it too different and too out of control, because then, I wouldn't be able. And I went, wow, Simone, you are really a control freak of magnitude. What if you just went, universe, show me something I've been unwilling to receive, and just like blast all of those barriers, those walls, those limitations that you've decided must exist, so that what you can protect yourself from what consciousness, like
Totally. I so get
universe,
that.
like,
Oh my God.
yeah, it's insane.
So
Good.
spooky.
So let's start with
Yeah.
that. So let's there's actually two businesses that I think that well, two minimum that I get is a great possibility for you. So can you talk a little bit about how this first one that you were talking about, the 7-day, came up?
Yeah, well, well, first of all, I'm really excited about this. Like now I get what's going on sort of, and I'm like so pumped. So this is so cool. I'm like, this is awesome. So, well, the first, I mean, the one that I'm like really excited about right now is the organizing business.
Mhm.
So, and I've been, okay, so basically the story of the organizing business is, I have been known for being super messy, like just messy, messy, messy. Grew up in a really messy household. Just, I had people tell me like in later years in Access, like used to be such a hard roommate to have at Access classes because you were so messy. And I was like, what? I was? And so it was this huge thing that like plagued me. And then I married somebody who is super clean and takes care of everything. Like if something breaks, it's fixed like within a few hours. Like he doesn't care who he has to call or what has to happen. So he like runs his life really sharply, and I love it. I'm grateful because I am taken care of in that way. So it was creating this huge conflict in our marriage. And so I'm like, okay, what do I have to do to change this? And one of the tools that from Access Consciousness that I used was running bars to extreme hoarders. I asked Gary about this. I'm like, this is like hurting Anthony and I so much. What do I do? And he's like, run the clearing. Like, what future hoarding? Like, how am I creating myself as a future hoarder? And then run bars to extreme hoarding. So I did.
Oh, the show. Okay, I've got it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, let me just explain this to people listening a little bit as well.
Yeah,
So
sorry, yes.
bars isn't I'm like, what? If she's going and finding people who are hoarders and then saying, can I run your bars? I was like, so
yeah, no.
Okay, so bars, first off, is I have talked about it on my podcast, but it's a hands-on process that we do, and there's 32 different points on the head. And when you just touch these points lightly, it starts to eliminate like all of those thoughts, feelings, and emotions that you have in these different areas, which, one of them is control. It's like, yeah, exactly. So I imagine that would be great. I mean, you've got control, you've got body, sexuality, awareness. It's like hopes and dreams, healing, like sadness, joy. There's a whole aging. There's a whole lot of different bars there. But now I get what you're saying. So there's an American TV show called Hoarders, which I think is around the world as well. Like I know I've seen it, I'm pretty sure, in Australia. And it's quite incredible. It's quite astounding watching it. Like
it's astounding. Like some
yeah.
people live among rat poop. Like their whole floor is like a film of garbage, and then the rats have gotten in and they live in the poop, and the people live there. Like they live there. They have to condemn some of these houses on the TV show.
Wow.
So yeah.
So you were getting your bars run or running someone's bars whilst watching this show.
Exactly.
Okay, so tell me first of all, what did you notice change? What brought it up for you?
Oh my gosh. So like everything changed. Everything changed in the miraculous, wonderful way that they do with the Access Consciousness bars. At least for me, it's been such a journey, and I know for you too, and such a gift to have the bars. And so something just switched. And also, a family member of mine who I'm very close with, was also an extreme, not a dirty hoarder, but like a creative person and a thing hoarder. So I ran their bars like 5 times one Christmas to this TV show. And I'm like sitting there running their bars going, what is this changing in the future? Like it was just this whole universe was opening up. So anyway, so I later that year, like 6 months later, I find this TV show on Netflix called Tidying Up with Marie Kondo. And it's this Japanese woman. I don't know if
I've watched a few episodes. It's amazing.
You have? Okay, cool. So
but you talk about it so anyone who hasn't, and we'll have we'll have what she's referring to for both those TV shows in the show notes as well.
Oh, that's so cool. Okay. Yeah. So Marie Kondo is this woman. She's Japanese. She's written 2 books, which they're so pretty that I keep them on my desk at all times because they just make me happy. So I can actually show them. Her first book is called The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, the Japanese Art of Decluttering and Organizing.
Nice.
That's her. She's very sweet. And then her second one is called Spark Joy. And it's like an illustrated guide of like the kind of the next level for the super OCD who also want to turn their tidying into sort of decorating, or like if
Nice.
they have photos they love, like how do you put those on the wall in a way that like brings joy for you? And so she says she's been organizing since she was 2 years old, and like literally she remembers being 2 and like seeing a drawer and just having this overwhelming need to like rearrange the items like in a way that was pleasing to her.
Mm-hmm.
And so her book was written in Japanese and then translated into English and became this international bestseller. So I read it, and like I watched the show like in a day, and then I read the first book, and it was like it gave me, mixed with like, because I also mixed it with the Access Consciousness tools. And there's this incredible SoundCloud called Clear the Clutter, Cut the Crap. It's an old world puja show that Gary and Dane did, and it's all about decluttering your house. So anyways, I combined all this, and I just totally understood what wasn't working in my world, like where the messiness was coming from, and it just shifted. And then I just wanted to organize everything all the time. And when I was in Saudi Arabia last year, we were quarantined for a month, and I was with a friend, and we went through like her whole closet and her whole bedroom and filmed it all. And her sister just happened to be in film, so she filmed us. And so
I love that. Just happened. You just happened to be in Saudi Arabia with someone who desired to get organized, whose sister was in film.
We were all quarantined together. Totally. And it was in a mansion with 15 bathrooms.
Wow.
Which was so cool.
You
like
had horrible quarantine.
Yeah, my quarantine was like, yeah. So it was a really fun time. And there was this really generative energy in the house. Like, here is this like Canadian dropped into the Saudi Arabian home where there's 5 daughters and 2 sons and their wives. Everybody's living on the same property, and we're all together and we can't leave. And it was just this beautiful experience. And so, and then I've just been organizing friends' houses. And then like not that long ago, somebody asked me can you do my friends? How much would you charge? And I was like, $35 an hour, I guess. I don't know. And so I went and did it, and it was so much fun. I hadn't done a strangers, and I worked with this 14-year-old girl, and it was a beautiful experience, and it totally changed her world.
So let me ask you some questions about that. So let me ask you about you first. What have you noticed? You also mentioned your relationship, right? And that's why. And can I just say thank you for actually using the Access Consciousness tools to change an area of your life? Like, it's like the Access Consciousness tools are so phenomenal, and they will change any area of your life that you think is not working for you. But you've got to use the tools. Like, I was talking to someone the other day who's done Access for years, and they were all funky about money. And I went, well, what tools have you used lately? Like, what if you sat down again and looked at how much it costs to run your life? Use the tools. So I'm really grateful that you are choosing that. And by choosing to create a greater you, I so get how much it contributes to the entirety of the world. So you've got your relationship here, and that this is like, creating this conflict. So then what changes did you notice for you and the relationship with being organized? And do you find it fun now, or is it work? Is it like, what comes up for you with that? Because obviously it's not something you chose before.
Right. Oh my gosh. Well, so much has changed. And the other thing too is we actually hired a lady to come in every single day, Monday to Friday. Every morning she comes in, she does all the laundry, folds all the laundry, puts it in the drawers, does all the dishes, and does some cooking. So it's like I'm so honored and nurtured, like every morning, like she comes in and takes care of me. And it's so that was also a huge piece of what's changed in the relationship, is like having somebody that comes in to take care of both of us, because we're both princesses. We both don't want to do the dishes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but like what's changed in our relationship is just like this there's just an overall sense of peace. I mean, like I would, and we've learned to, because at first it wasn't like, oh, I'm just going to go run my bars and use these tools and get organized. At first it was like, he's wrong and he's an asshole and he should accept how I am and he should accept how I live. You know, none of which worked.
Is it none of it which is a question, or you've also decided that you're right too?
Exactly. Yeah, I was so righteous about how messy I was, and like, this makes me feel comfortable, and but it really didn't, and it was really not my reality. So I mean, I don't know, we just living in a
What
clean
have you
house
noticed
is
for you?
fun.
What have you noticed for you? Like, have you made more money? Are you having more fun? It's like, are you like, what sort of ease is showing up in your life that you maybe have not even acknowledged till now?
Yeah, this is a really amazing question. I mean, I feel I have this sense of pride that I run a really amazing household. And I know that I have used the tools diligently for the last 6 years since I've had a husband and kids, to create a place where we have what I consider a very large house, and we cook like incredible meals and everything is beautiful, and we have gorgeous antiques, and we have like, it's this beautiful world. And I know that my choice created that. Like, I'm so proud and grateful for how the house runs, and just how like amazing it is to like live in this house and have these meals and have the kids have so much space, and they have their own living room, and like they're so grateful and proud of it too. And it's just given us all this like robust sense that we have, like this sense of having, I guess.
So when you're extrapolating with an idea or anything like that too, it's like the thing that I look for is the ping, like
Yeah.
like sort of what pings. And as soon as you were talking, then what I could hear was this beautiful world.
Mm.
And it's like that you actually asked for a beautiful world, and it's showing up as a beautiful world, but the beautiful world doesn't have a conclusion to it. It's like it to me, it has this sense of this forever expanding adventure of beauty, of ease, of this joy to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And you have more of that. And it's interesting because it's like how many people hoard, are messy, dirty, avoid actually hiring someone. Like I remember when I was like, God, I wish I could hire a cleaner. But you have all these reasons and justifications for why you can't do it. And mine was like, I'm not making enough money. Well, what I did start to have a look at, and this was from Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, talking about it, how much do you charge an hour, say for a private session with Access, versus how much does it cost for a cleaner? And that's actually what made me start looking at it. And I remember when I hired a cleaner for 2 hours a week, and I was like, oh my God, this is so over the top, hiring this cleaner for 2 hours a week. But I realized that it was like 30 in Australia, it's like $35 an hour roughly. And it's like, so that was $70 for 2 hours. And it just created so much ease in my world. And what I also learned to discover is the things that I like. Like, it's funny you say the dishes. I actually like cleaning dishes, and I like doing laundry. I don't like ironing, and I don't like folding or putting it away, but I'm really fussy about my laundry. So I would do my laundry now still, but then there's this, I've got a huge laundry and I put it on the bench. So my cleaner knows, and she comes now twice a week, 4 hours a day. So it's 8 hours I have her, and it's just for me. But she knows that's clean. She's either got to iron it, fold it, or, put it away, whatever. So we've got it sort of all worked out. And I'm in the kitchen. She always laughs because I go, I've just got to clean the kitchen, like cleaning the kitchen before the cleaner comes, because I want to clean these dishes, the china and the silver and everything the way I like it. And then she can do all the other stuff, But you learn to sort of receive something different showing up in your life. And I'm going to give you some home play for anyone that's listening or watching here as well. is what if you could write down 5 things that would make your life easier? Like, what choice could you choose that would make your life easier that you've decided you cannot have? So say if it's, you'd love someone to wash your car. It's like you'd like someone to do the ironing, or, because then you start to break it down of what it is that you do like. Like I said, I like doing my own laundry. There's something about it that makes me happy. Okay, I'm not going to try and work that out. It just makes me happy.
Yeah.
Chris Hughes, when I used to live with him, I used to do his laundry because I was like, oh, my ex Brendan, he used to say to me, did you, I wore that yesterday, right? And I'd be like, he wore it yesterday, and there it is, it's clean. It's like, because I was like, I don't like dirty clothes. So but you know what? Acknowledge the stuff like that you have going on, and then choose it because it's fun for you. And what else can you add that's going to create this to be, even greater?
Yeah.
So write down those 5 things that you think you cannot have. And what if for 2022 you ask, what would it take for this to show up? Like getting someone in, like for, like I now have 8 hours a week. You have 5 days a week that someone's coming in. It's like, start with one thing. Start with like someone just ironing for you, and see if it creates something different in your world, because that's what this is about, is creating a beautiful world. See how we did that? See how we did that? The snake came around and just bit it.
Oh my God, the energy of that is just, amazing.
Well, it's empowering too. Like it's not making anyone wrong. So let's just, for like hypothetical sakes, it's like, if you had this business that was creating a beautiful world for people, what would you like to invite people to? Because the obvious is organized, but what's the energy behind it?
Well, I mean,
you had it. You were right there, right at the beginning.
Yeah. It's like this energy of like, well, first of all, like a lot of like, I didn't realize how much OCD I did have, because it was so overlaid with like neglect and avoidance. Like it was really real to me to neglect things and avoid them. So, I mean, but that's not exactly the energy.
But can I say, you mentioned before too, you realized it wasn't your reality.
Yeah.
So what if one of the things you wanted to show people was, what is their reality?
Yeah, that. And that's why I had so much fun reading Marie Kondo's book, is because and what I love doing with people that I'm working with, organizing, is like, I don't care what you, like, some people think that I'm there and I am going to want them to like get rid of purge a lot of clothes or something. And I'm like,
no, that's my choose. Yeah.
And exactly like that. I'm like, they're like the scary organizer lady who wants to like get them to get rid of stuff. And I'm like, I don't care what you get rid of. Like, this is your house. I want it to be as great for you as possible. So like what would you like your space to be like? A lady just moved into a new house and everything was in boxes and off hangers and it was just all over the place. And I was like, like, what I'm getting here, like, we were kind of consulting at the beginning about what she wanted, and I'm like, what I'm getting here is like that, like, everything the way it is now doesn't match this house, like your things don't match the house. So like, let's create a place where like everything, all your objects like are congruent with this house. And she just lit up and was just so grateful that I articulated that desire.
Talk a little bit more about that for people. What do you mean by congruent with the house?
Yeah. So if you guys know, like, certain things sort of just don't mesh, or like when you kind of look at them, it's kind of like, it just creates this weird off energy. And congruency is like when things actually like work together, or
They've got a
yeah, that's the word for congruency. So it's like it's like when it just makes your body gets calm, you just feel at ease. Like, have you ever been to somebody's house and you just felt at ease and you just felt at peace? And it's like, that's because the house, there's just a lot of congruency between the house and the things and the joy of the person who lives in the house. It's like it all works and we call it in Access, energetically congruent. And so I love creating energetic congruency, and strive to create energetic congruency for myself with like my own being and who I am all the time. And it's really fun to do that with the organizing.
Well, it's interesting. I was talking to Gary Douglas the other day, and he said to me something about, because I was looking at a new carpet and somewhere in my lounge room, and he said something about like getting rid of Brendan stuff, which is my ex, and we haven't been together, I think, for about 3 years now. And I looked around and I went to go, I don't have anything that's his. And within 24 hours, I went, oh, I do. I have all these decanters, like these crystal decanters that we bought because of Brenda. But I don't use decanters, and I don't actually. And there's other beautiful, like I bought these amazing, beautiful glasses the other day that match more the energy of me. And I happen to have a shop called Antiques and Possibilities, which is really handy when you want to get rid of something because you can just sell it at the shop. And we got these new glasses in, and I went, oh, these are beautiful. So I got all the decanters, which I never use. They are beautiful. But I went, well, but are they me? No. Okay, let's sell them, and brought these glasses in. It was just like that, oh, that energy. So I would have said, oh, the house is now created that more matches my energy. But when Gary said that, it sort of pinged. And I went, oh, what have I still got around here that is based on Brendan, not based on my choice? And not making it right or wrong, just like, what if you can have that space and create that beautiful world, that beautiful space for yourself, that is your home. I love it. I get excited. I would like you to come to my house, actually, Julia.
Oh God. Oh, Simone. Next time I'm in Noosa, it's on.
Yes, that would be amazing. Because what I tend to do is my reason and justification is that I get too busy, and I tend to dump. And then I have different dumping grounds, and then every now and then I'll just be like, okay, I'm done. And then what I've also noticed lately is I buy a lot of clothes. I have a lot of clothes, and then I keep them. And I also my body changed a lot. Like I lost a lot of weight in the past few years, but I still have clothes that are the size that they don't fit me anymore. And I'm like, Simone, you need to go through and just sort this shit out so that you can, but it's actual choice to do that. Cause I go, well, I've got this, and this. So over the Christmas period, that's one of my demands of myself. And again, my sense is it's not about making myself wrong or anything like that. It's just like, well, if I could get rid of stuff that's not a contribution to my life anymore, then what other space could open up is how I look at it. So, okay. So what have you done so far with starting this business? Like you said, you've done some sessions, and charge $35 an hour.
Yeah. Wah, wah, wah.
I know exactly.
When you just said that the cleaner when you first started was I'm like, oh, this is a different skill. Like, I'm like, I need to actually because it's such a specialized, not that that's not, I'm not downplaying that at all, but it's like, I'm using so many access consciousness tools. I'm using like so many layers of things. And so anyway, so in the 7-day event that Simone was referring to, Gary Douglas, who Simone was talking about with the glasses, and getting rid of some of her ex's things, he was asking me a question about this organizing business. And I said, how much do I charge? Because like $35 an hour. He was like, what? How could you? He's like, you're the only one of your kind. There's nobody else doing that in that way with those tools and your, I don't know. He didn't say, he just said you're one of your kind. Well, I mean, I charge.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, can you just hear what just see half? And then she's on YouTube now. She's even just like disappeared from the camera. and she's blushing a little bit now too.
I'm off the screen.
What's a half?
So $100 an hour would be super fun. 150 would be ecstasy.
Cool. So what if you started charging that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, here's my question too is, okay, so you're charging 100 to, and you could do 100 to 150, 100 to $200 an hour, depending on a few different things. Where is it? How big is the job? Blah, blah, blah. Like you could have a consult fee as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like consult for $250 an hour.
Yep.
And could you do that by Zoom?
Yep. Definitely.
So my question too is, How big do you want to go with this?
That is, thank you for asking me that. I mean, yeah, it's like, that's the thing. It's like I have been $35 an hour is a very nominal, local, tiny fee. And it's like the 150 is more. I mean, I'd love to go huge. Nobody's asked me that. I've been like, you know how we do that thing where we like go, well, I'll speak for myself. I do this thing where I go into my own head and like, it's not really asking a question. Like I'm just thinking about something over and over. Because, you know, since Gary said you need to charge $150 an hour, I've been like looking at that and kind of going, ugh. But when you are here with your presence and your energy into my world asking me that, it's like I would love to create it as a global business. And
Okay. Yep. Then
yeah.
what action would you need to take in order to have it be a global business? So what does having a global business mean to you?
Oh my God, this is, thank you so much for asking me these things. Like having a global business is like, I've had a global business. I've been an online facilitator and had clients all over the world for, I think 8 years. I went online from my local foundation and bars business. And it's never been real to me. Like I haven't fully received that I have a global business or that I'm doing something this international. Like it's like a non-reality when you ask me that question.
Okay, so everything you've been unwilling to receive about the global business that you've already created and actualized, you destroy and uncreate it.
Yeah.
Right, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So with this business, this new business, what does being global mean to you?
The words that come up are fame and stardom.
Okay, cool. So what action would you need to take to have the fame and stardom with this?
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, go
like
ahead.
what action energetic, like what, like, or like build a website, have like, I mean, first of all, I'd have to get over my point of view about being a star. Cause like, I always wanted to be a star. I always wanted to be the best. I always wanted everybody to look at me and fawn over me and love me. And then like, I also through access have seen where that's a limitation or where I'm actually not including others in that. Cause I want to be the best, even if I have to like harm others to do that. And I had to look at that really honestly and had some really intense facilitations about that. And so it's like letting that willingness and to have that energy in my world again is so exciting because I have spent so much time making it so wrong.
So truth, are you a star?
I'm laughing, yes.
Yeah. So what if you're already a star? Now what do you get
Yeah.
to choose? Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I'm asking you the questions of what is it, and so ladies and gentlemen listening to this as well, if you've got any ideas or anything that you're extrapolating with, it's not about like when I say what's the next act, what's the action that you can choose. It's, you know, as Julia mentioned, like, you know, building a website, and it's like, yeah, that could be. And it's like, you know, I don't know, even getting an email address, any of those things. It could be all of that. Getting a YouTube channel could be that. You know,
Yeah.
setting up the social media, it could be that. And what is the next action? Because the next action could even be choosing it. Oh, I'm in. Let's go.
Yeah.
Like that demand when you wake up in the morning and you demand of yourself and request of the universe, okay, I'm in, let's go. Like I was just talking to someone this morning about business and we were talking about retail shops. And he said a lot of the times what he's done when retail is not going very well is they literally sit down with the shop and go, okay, here's the gig. Like, do you want to be here? Because I'm putting everything I have in this. And it's like, you know, can you help me? Can you find some, you know, find the people to come in and purchase these products? Like, and ask the shop, give the business a job to do. So how many times have we misidentified and misapplied that the action is got to be this like this method or this how, you know, looking for this result or this conclusion. But if you truly function beyond this reality in question, then that action could be infinite possibilities showing up. So everything it doesn't allow you to receive the infinite possibilities that are actually available for you and the businesses where you destroy and uncreate it.
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
Yeah. What comes up with that too is like, then I would leave my facilitation business behind, and I've made that business the rightness and the be all end all.
Which is interesting because you conclude that you would leave your facilitation business behind.
Yep.
But let's paint a little bit of a scenario here.
Okay.
What if you did have a hugely successful YouTube channel to start with that some production picked up, and then you had your own TV show? Would your facilitation business be bigger or smaller?
Bigger.
Yeah, everyone would want to come and do a foundation class with Julia.
Oh, you're just making
Julia
me so
Sotas.
happy.
Oh my God. It's like, yeah, I get to do a bars class with Julia Sotas. You mean the Julia Sotas? Oh my goodness. That's amazing. So everywhere
I'm so grateful.
where you destroy and uncreate it, right? And
Yeah.
I don't know, shorts, boys and millions. Guys, anything is possible.
Yeah.
Anything. And one of my favorite stories I like to refer to a lot of the times in say business done different classes is, you know, Cesar Millan, and he was got a very, very successful show on what's it called? Cesar Millan, he trains with dogs, like the Dog Whisperer. That's it. It's called the Dog Whisperer.
Oh.
Now, yeah, it's in different languages. It's in many different countries, etc. And he has this business, but he actually came to America as a wetback. And if you don't know what that is, it's like, it means he swam from Mexico to America and he had nothing. And then he created this multi-million-dollar business on being a dog whisperer with this TV show all around the world. So my question is always, then what's the reason and justification you have for not choosing to create what it is that you know you could?
Yeah.
And isn't it insane that you go, oh, if I did this, then this business would diminish?
Yeah.
Not necessarily. Nope.
And it's like I've been willing to have this amount, and it's like, and that's why I'm so grateful for, you know, to have amazing people in my life who do like 1,000 billion different things, like you and Gary and Dane and Shannon. And it's just like, like I went into Gary's Airbnb. He has like, so he owns a ranch in Texas, and then he owns like, I don't know, I think I counted one day like 12 houses, like in that small town in Texas. Like he rents to this person and this person, and it's just amazing. And I was in one of the Airbnbs staying there, and he had gold plated cutlery in his Airbnb, like silverware.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, Gary, you have gold silverware in your Airbnb? And he's like, yeah, what do you think, I'm poor? Like, why wouldn't I have gold? And it was just, and he like wanted to honor his guests, and he just put this trust in his guests. And I was like just seeing that one detail in like his 47th house was just like, huh? It was so vast and so honoring, and such an invitation to something so big.
And so not this reality.
Nope.
You know, like you go, it's an Airbnb, so you can't have this. Whereas, no, it's an Airbnb. I mean, it's funny you say that, because there's an Airbnb that I used to stay at on a regular basis in Copenhagen, and it was a penthouse apartment. It was beautiful. These two gay guys, actually, they ended up at one stage giving me a key because I was going there so often, and they had to come and meet me and do all this stuff. And they said, look, why don't you just take a key, and then when you book it, you've got it. And I was like, really? And they're like, yeah. And they had silver, like that's what you ate off. Their vases were incredible. And then we ended up every time, like they would leave me a gift when I'd go stay there, and then I'd leave them a gift when I would leave, sort of thing. And it was this kind of honoring of these people across the world, just being like, hi, like I honor you, you honor me. And there was this trust and everything. I mean, God, I could have done anything, but it was like, it created ease in both of our worlds.
That's an amazing story. Yeah, it's just so different.
I forgot about it until you just mentioned it.
Yeah.
About how Gary is. And I was like, I'll always remember that Airbnb. I must ping them actually, because I haven't been to Europe much. So we used to go to Copenhagen a lot. So yeah. Anyway, let's go to Julia's beautiful world business.
Wow.
What next?
Wow.
Okay, so what I want you guys to notice, if you're listening or you're watching, it's like, especially if you've been watching, you'll see Julia's been yawning a bit. And I'm going to say it's not because she's tired or bored. It's a lot of the times when there's a lot of unconsciousness or anti-consciousness that is unraveling from your world, you tend to, it's like sloughing it off. It's like, so you will tend to yawn, or you'll be like, oh, and then you get to this stage where, like, if you notice, I just asked Julia, like, what next? And there wasn't this, I want to say, these porcupine spikes. Like, it wasn't this thing of like, why she can't, but it had this sense of space to it, but also the sense of space where maybe right now is not the moment to ask for the next step. It's also to allow the universe to contribute to you, to open up those doors so that you know you can walk through them.
Yeah, because I was like sort of peeking through the doorway, maybe kind of, and this conversation has like opened the first door and then like a whole bunch of doors after that, and like the space in my world and my sense of possibilities. Because like I'll have all these things in my own head, and you're like, well, what if that's not like a problem, you know? And it's like, so door after door after door after door has opened, and yeah, it's just expanding my world so dynamically.
So do you know what I would like to do, Julia, is if it, comes up, what if we have another podcast in a couple of months?
Yeah.
In 2022, and see where you're at. And here's the thing, if I ask Julia about that too, even if this business doesn't eventuate, that's okay.
Yeah.
It's like, because a lot of the times, even when you open this door up to this space of possibilities, then there's another door that opens up, like I said right at the beginning of the podcast, that may, show itself to Julia, and she's like, oh, this. And it's like, it might be anything. Like, I'm going to actually, there's a story I can think of with Christopher Hughes. Many years ago, we were in Perth in Western Australia, and he came to a Joy Business Taster class, and he was talking about what he wanted to create in the world. And he was saying he wanted to have a winery. He wanted to have a boutique winery. And then, so I asked him questions. Okay, tell me, what is it that you'd like to have about the winery? Like, what is that? And he spoke about this energy that he would like to show people. And he said, I'd like to show people that there's an elegance of living, that you can have the hedonism, that you can, enjoy life. You can, and the way he spoke about it and did all this, and it was like, okay, so does it need to be a winery? And he was like, no, it doesn't. And now it's interesting because he's an owner of, 3 antique shops, and we're opening up another one in Brisbane in one of the finest areas. It's like next to Louis Vuitton, Chanel, like all of that. And we're
wow. Oh my God, the energy of that is so exciting. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. And he's going to be showing people that beauty and that elegance and that hedonism, and that you can have everything. So he's choosing it. It doesn't actually mean that it always has to be in these antique shops, but that's one of the gifts that Christopher beats. So then if you even look at the energy of what we've been talking about, is what is the gift that Julia bees for people in the world, to show them that there's another possibility. So it could show up as this business, and it could show up as something completely different. But if you're not trying to control it, you actually allow all of the possibilities to show up.
Oh, Simone, I just can't thank you enough for this conversation. Like, I just want to cry. Thank you so much for being this energy in my world, and like just inviting me to get clarity on, like, because everything in my head, I've been thinking about this so much, and so much of it has been going into the wrongness, and this was just huge.
Yeah. And if you are someone, like Julia was saying, she's been thinking about it so much as well, do something that works for you. Like, if do old school, buy a notebook and start to write down all your ideas. Or, I don't know, I use notes on my computers a lot because they also sync with my phones. Or do some voice recordings or something, and write down everything that shows up. Don't dismiss anything. But because a lot of the times when you think about it and you think about it and you think about it, a lot of people will literally create a business in their head. And then when it comes to actually choosing it, it's like they're done. The business is done. You're like, oh, didn't you see it? That's all in my head. I've already created it in my head. I thought about it so much. I thought about it. I succeeded. I failed. I hit some roads. this whole TV reality show in your head, and it's like, well, what if you actually just chose it? Like, let's go. Next step, start. Just start. And what if that is about what is next? Just start. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite you to go to accessconsciousness.com. And as Julia was mentioning really early on about bars, it's like, if you have not yet had your bars run, what if you gifted yourself bars, over this Christmas period and New Year, etc., and really know that you can create and generate whatever it is you desire moving into 2022. I nicknamed 2022 where dreams come true. And what if that's what we
You're talking to Cinderella. You're speaking my language.
And I love that, but I love that you claim that. It's like, yes, I am a princess. Like, if you are a princess, claim and acknowledge it. And then what are you going to choose? And then what are you going to choose? And then what are you going to choose? I'm a control freak of magnitude. And then what am I going to choose? And then what am I going to choose? But I don't use it against myself or anyone anymore. It's like, I just know, okay, that's a capacity I have as well. All right, now what next? So, and if you're interested also, check out accessjoybusiness.com. There are many, 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 many amazing, wonderful joy business facilitators around the world.
Totally. And if you haven't read, sorry, go ahead.
But they actually do and be things like this. Like, this is, in the classes, business done different, etc. And there's lots of possibilities that you can have. But yeah, you were going to say, Julia?
Well, I was just going to say your book. I was telling you on another telecall recently, like, I've been rereading it, and just the stories that you tell about your wild adventures in business as a young woman. I mean, Simone like trekked around India by herself and like bought goods and like went to like dangerous places and crazy places, and just as like super young and fresh and wide-eyed, and it's just a really beautiful story. And then it goes into like major amounts of tools, so it's like really entertaining, and you're on this adventure with her, and then it goes into these amazing tools. So I love that book
so much. And it's called Joy of Business, and you can buy it on Amazon, Booktopia, all those places. But the funny thing is, I never realized that the places I went to in India were considered dangerous until I met Indians later. And they'd go, "Where did you go?" And I'd go to Paharganj. I'd stay there. I stayed in a room there, $2 a night. And it was like, don't want to choose that again. But anyway, been there, done that. Don't need to choose that again.
Yeah.
So thank you, Julia, so much for being on here. So where can people find you? If they would like to book a session, it's now $150 an hour. We've established that.
Yes. I think I should add at least organizing to my website now until my whole next organizing website is built. Yeah. But yeah, and I do all kinds of sessions. I do access sessions, I do organizing sessions, abuse. I mean, there's so many different things, and all the rates are like organized. It's really cool. And all my classes, and my website is www.juliasotas.com.
Awesome. And you can also find her on the accessconsciousness.com website. And I just want to add just an idea, because you're correct. You mentioned with the organizing, and then people start to go, "Oh my God, she's going to purge. She's going to throw away all my stuff." So what if it was like the extrapolation of, organizing, creating your beautiful world? Yeah. Because when you said that, that was the energy that I got, is the invitation. Like, if you walked into my house and said, "Simone, I'd like to contribute to you creating a beautiful home and a beautiful world for you," then I'm not going to freak out that you're about to throw everything out that I've decided I should keep.
Totally.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, Julia, for being here. And thank you, everyone. Do your thing, subscribe, send this to friends, family, foe, whoever. Let's change
the world. To all of your enemies. Yeah,
exactly. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
If you're enjoying this podcast and have a question or topic you'd like me to address, please leave a review wherever you are listening. The best way for me to know what it is you want to hear about is to send in your questions, and we actually read all the reviews that come in. So let us know which episodes you loved and what you want to hear about next, right there in the podcast reviews. And thank you. Truly, truly grateful.